Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 48 of The Squadron. This is going to be a short episode. If this is your first time listening, it's probably not going to make a lot of sense, so I would highly suggest maybe going back. I always suggest going back to episode 1, of course, but listening to maybe one of the last couple episodes and you get a sense of the show. But if this is your first time and you're just going to power through, good for you. The Squadron is a podcast about optimizing, developing, and maintaining the health and fitness of law enforcement and other first responders all around the world. And I'm your host, Garrett Tesla. If you've been listening for a while, of course, you know me. And I'm a 11-year veteran of a sheriff's department in Southern California. And this has been my little project going on now 2 years as I try to parse out specifics and actionable intelligence from experts from a variety of fields in order to make my life better, in order to manage shift work and night shifts and the challenges we have medically, the challenges we have professionally, the challenges we have emotionally, the challenges we have with our family. I could keep going. And if you have been listening to this show for a long time, first of all, thank you. But you will have noticed that I've been on a bit of a hiatus. And it was self-imposed, but it was important. And I'll get to some of those issues here in a second. But I wanted to do this show at the end of the year, kind of a recap of everything that happened in 2016. But I didn't want to. But stuff happened, and as things happen, and it went to 1 week became 2 weeks, became 3 weeks, and all of a sudden here we are. I think a month out from our last show with Aaron Baruga. So I wanted to do one show, a shorter show, to catch you up. Because if this is your first time listening, the show is also kind of part documentary. It's meant to document my attempts and challenges and successes in getting myself back in shape, back into a better mental space, and kind of sharing what I've learned in that journey. And I haven't done a recap show in a while, and I try not to typically don't do full shows just on recaps. It's usually a thing at the beginning of the show. But there's no guests on this show. This is just a quick catch up, and because I've gotten quite a few emails, quite a few Facebook messages and such from a lot of people asking about what's my status. So I'll catch you up on 2016 because some interesting stuff happened, and I know some interesting stuff happened to all of you. It was a rough year for law enforcement in general, of course, too. Which reminds me that before I get into all of that, we are launching our first T-shirt of the year. The T-shirts are a great way to support the show because the proceeds go directly towards server space and equipment and that sort of thing that we need to continue the show. And on this T-shirt specifically is a special one to me, and we will be donating some of the proceeds to the Officer Down Memorial page for their efforts. You can go see it at Teespring. That's TEE Spring SPRING.com / Officer Down 2016. The shirt is a design that I came up with. I wanted to release it earlier in the month, but had some design hiccups. But basically, the short version, you can see it there on the website, but the short version is the back, an American flag with 140 blue stars, not 50 stars. We lost 140 officers last year. And I thought that adding them each as a blue star to the American flag was a nice way to represent their service. The front has one of my has a bastardization of one of my favorite poems by Dylan Thomas about not going gently into the night and then raging against the night. It's meant to just be a commitment or a reminder of the will to survive ethos that we all, of course, must embody. But you can see that at Teespring, that's again, TEE Spring.com / Officer Down 2016. Also, of course, thesquadroom.net is our website if you haven't been there before. All right, so 2016. I just, right before I hit record on this, I came back from the store, and as I'm driving home from the store, I realized that trip to the store, just that one trip to Whole Foods pretty much encompasses, but it pretty much explains my entire year of 2016 in one metaphor. And so I thought I'd share that with you and then go into some of the specifics of the year. So like everybody else, I have to eat, right? We all have to eat, and I'm off today, so I'm doing the grocery shopping. Now, it just so happens that my son is home as well from school because I don't know why the teachers just decided not to come in. But anyway, he's got the day off from school, so he's here with me, which, of course, means that if anything's going to get done, he's coming with me. So, like any 5-year-old, they love going to the store. That's sarcasm for any of you who aren't parents. But, he's a good trooper. So we get to the store, ready to go, park after fighting all of that traffic. And before we even get in the store, realize I don't even have my shopping list with me. So strike one for the day. I'm now having to kind of wing it on memory, which always means that I double buy the stuff we already have and I forget all the essentials. So we get into the store. It's California, which means that now we have a required. You have to bring your own bags. You can't. You can't just get grocery bags at the store anymore. You have to have those canvas reusable bags. It's a law now. And of course, I forgot those as well too. So okay, not the best start, but whatever. We'll make do. We'll survive. So we go into the store. First thing we hit is the shampoo. Need shampoo. And the lady there, the clerk, is stocking it, and she's shelving all the brand new bottles of shampoo. And my son is curious, and he sees a nice, colorful bottle and pulls it off the shelf, but manages to pull it off the shelf in a way that creates like a domino effect and knocks over every bottle of shampoo on that shelf. I don't know how he did it. And part of it was he knocked a bunch over, and then he tried to correct it. And because he's 5, he's trying to put his stuff back, and he knocks more over, and he just creates chaos. And the clerk is standing there staring at us, doing her best to be polite, and she was very nice, but obviously frustrated, as I would be too, in that situation where she had just done all this work, and now a 5-year-old came in like a tornado and threw it all over the place. So anyway, we skedaddle out of there quickly. Don't even get shampoo. We just get out of there. And we move through the store, and needed a chicken. I needed a whole chicken. We're having roast chicken tonight. So, and I do all the cooking. Well, most of the cooking. 99% of the cooking. We need a roast chicken or a whole chicken. I get the last one, kind of a victory. So that was a bit of a score, and so maybe we're on the upswing here. Get a healthy lunch from the hot bar, some vegetables and some chicken thighs. So making good choices, feeling good about my choices, moving forward. Okay, things are starting to look up with this whole trip to the grocery store. My son has been very patient. I'll bet a little bit high maintenance, as kids are at grocery stores. So I offered to get him a treat, and I let him select his dessert for the night, which is a chocolate chip cookie. And that's what he picked. So we get that, and he's excited now, and we're on our way to the to check out. So we put all the food on the conveyor belt, and the lady starts ringing everything up, and I'm standing there chit-chatting with her, and I need to pay for some bags because I forgot mine because we have to pay for them. I need some bags, and rings me up. I pull out my wallet, and I don't have my debit card in there. It's gone. And I don't carry a credit card around, although I will after today. I just got out of the habit of not carrying it around anymore so I wouldn't spend money on it. It's gone. Totally gone. And I realized during the shampoo fiasco, my son was also goofing around and pulling my wallet out of my pants pocket because he likes to take the cards out. So we go rushing back over to the shampoo aisle, and I'm down on my all fours looking under the aisle stands or whatever, looking for my debit card. Not there. We have to leave the entire grocery store eventually without any of our groceries, without any of the lunch. After all the stuff that we put in the cart, it's like nothing. And of course now my son is traumatized by the fact that I promised him this cookie and now he doesn't get to have it. So we leave the store, and I can't figure out where my debit card would be. Maybe I left it at the restaurant last night. We get home, and it's sitting on my desk because I had pulled it out to make a purchase online earlier in the day, and I never put it back in. And I thought about that after I screamed loudly into a pillow. But I thought that kind of encompassed the entirety of 2016 for me. That if there was a metaphor, my motivation in 2016 was that debit card. It never left the house that day. And it just sat on my desk. And I thought I had it. I thought I had my debit card all day long running errands. Several stores before that where I was going to make purchases and for whatever reason didn't. And I thought I had it with me. And that whole time, I didn't. It was at home. And that's pretty much explaining my motivation in 2016. I thought I had it, but I didn't. It never left the house. So I think that just kind of is a specific, is an excellent analogy for it. But anyway, 2016 started out great. 2016 was in January 2016, I was probably in some of the best shape of my life. I needed to work on my diet still and dial that in, but I was still carrying a lot of the loose in the cage kind of fat. That's a quote from Tony Horton, the guy who does P90X, and that always cracked me up when he said someone's loose in the cage, and I understand what he means. But I was stronger than I've ever been, and I was nailing PRs in lifts and workouts on an almost weekly basis. I was getting lots of comments about my shoulder development and my biceps, my forearms. Lots of people were commenting on that size growth, and it was very obvious. Jackets weren't fitting well. T-shirts or dress shirts would not fit very well because I had so much extra mass up there. And I was doing really good. My back pain was basically non-existent. I was not having any of those issues that I had in 2015. So I started out the year great. But like I said, my diet still needed to be dialed in. And I was trying a couple different things. But all in all, things were progressing actually quite well. Well, that brings me through late April. In early May, I was involved in a foot chase on duty of a burglary suspect. And lo and behold, I ended up being the guy in front, even though I'm not really, not supposed to. I'm the sergeant, but my guy, I've talked about this in other episodes, so I'll make it short. But anyway, short version is I caught him, 20 years younger than me, and I still caught him, so made sure he knew that. But when I tackled him, we fell down. I fell down on top of him, and I ended up breaking my thumb in an avulsion fracture, which means that a ligament tears off and pulls a piece of bone with it, which requires immediate surgery to fix. Not like immediate, like rushed by helicopter to the ER, but I had surgery the next day on it. So that meant I was in a cast for 6 weeks. I was off work for 2 months total, and it was a long time before I was able to do any grip work in squeezing a grip like a kettlebell or a barbell. So that left me to cardio. And like any type A alpha male who enjoys lifting weights, cardio is an abomination to me. I understand the importance of it, but the last time I ran with any purpose was the academy, and I only ran then because they made you. I can do a rower and that sort of stuff, but running was just painful, and I hate it. And I'm a bigger guy anyway. I mean, if I were to be my ideal weight, I'd still be 6'2", about 220, and not gentle on us bigger guys. Anyway, so cardio is what I had left to do, and I did my best at it for quite some time, but it just started to slowly get away from me. And then towards in July, I was assigned to desk duty after I came back from the injury. I had another month of light duty that I needed to do. And I was assigned to a desk duty, so there was absolutely no movement, and it was 5 days a week. I don't know how people, if you're listening to this and you have a regular job where you go to work Monday through Friday, like 9 to 5, I have no idea how you get anything done because I haven't had that job like that since my mid-20s, and I was so used to like the 3 days off or the 4 days off at a time, and having all that free time, and my time off coincided with the kids being in school, so I had lots of free time. I mean, heck, I have this podcast because I have that kind of time. I can't do this on the weekends when the kids get home. So a lot of my lifestyle is based around the fact that I have time off during the weekdays. So now I'm at 5 days a week, and I'm pulling my hair out, not moving anything, and I just all of a sudden my time disappears. Well, I come back to full duty in August, just in time for the department to institute 2 words that I never want to hear again, which is mandatory overtime. Instead of going from we moved from a 312 schedule to basically a 412, where you're working a 96-hour pay period, and that's at the minimum. I mean, that's also on top of that. You're also doing overtime on top of that. You're being called in for other shifts. You're trying to help your partner squads out by covering some of their shortcomings. So, I mean, a lot of us are working insane amounts of time just to keep the ship afloat. And that, of course, taxes everything else in your life. And that went through December. So 4 months of this mandatory overtime where just exhausted, tired, and just kind of spent. And during that time is when I really noticed that I was starting to put on weight like crazy. And I hadn't changed much of my workout routine, but I was now starting to put on weight like mad. And at the end of it all, towards the beginning of December, I'd put on about 35 pounds in about 3.5 months. And that was really concerning, and that should be to anybody, right? I mean, that's a big red flag when you're not changing your diet in any particular way and you're exercising still. I mean, my diet was certainly starting to slip, and that's something we've talked about is, when you're sleep deprived, you make bad decisions. Your hypothalamus actually starts to trick you that you need high salt, fatty, salty foods. But I was aware of some of those things. But all of a sudden, this started to expand and expand and expand. So anyway, pulled into December, limping into the end of the year. Real significant weight gain. I wasn't hitting the gym as much. In October, I had the brilliant idea to start renovating my house. And it was like pulling that one thread that just goes and goes and goes, and all of a sudden you've pulled out the whole sweater. And again, this is something else I've talked about on shows, but I'm still not done. And that has included painting the house, redoing the floors, redoing the cabinets, redoing the trim, installing new doors. And none of this is my specialty. I'm a indoors, I don't have, the only reason I have calluses on any of my hands is maybe from a barbell, and even then, my hands are quite soft. So I'm not a home improvement guy. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos to figure this out. So I've spent a lot of time, pretty much all of my free time, trying to work on the house and get this back to livable shape. I mean, right now as I talk, I'm surrounded by stuff covered in tarps and painting supplies everywhere, and paint samples on the walls, and anyway, all that. So we moved into December with this fast weight gain, not a lot of free time to work on any of these things, and I started to get some blood tests done, and then in just solid fashion, ended 2016 literally on New Year's Eve in the emergency room. Not me. Wish it would have preferred it had been me, but was in the emergency room with my mother when we were all on a family vacation together, and she collapsed during lunch. And that was quite an experience because we were up in the Bay Area and literally out in the middle of nowhere, which you wouldn't think in the Bay Area you could be anywhere in the middle of nowhere, but we found it. So it was like a 43-mile ride to the ER, and quite an ordeal that day. She's fine. Everything was fine, but definitely needed to be checked out. But that was just quintessential end to 2016 for me, because, ending it like that. And of course, I started 2017 knocked out with a significant illness that infected my entire family, including my mom and dad and my wife and everybody else. So we were rolling into 2017 on a solid limp. So that's what my year was. I mentioned I had some blood tests done, and over the last week confirmed that I am something we talk about on the show a lot, and something you've heard Kirk Parsley talk about, and Dr. Scheinberg and many others. I am insulin resistant, and I am pre-diabetic. So you'll see some focus on some of these upcoming episodes on dealing with that and how to manage that and what that is. And we'll go a lot deeper into it. I was at a wellness conference last week where a bunch of medical doctors who really, really care about our population got up and gave really in-depth information on these topics. And they've all agreed to come on. I think 6 in total. So the doctor episodes have proved pretty popular, so even more reason to have them on. And what we're going to do this time around is open those up for questions. And what I suggest is getting on our mailing list and liking our Facebook page. We're at the Squad Room Podcast on Facebook, and our email list you can get to at thesquadroom.net. If you're not on there already, get on those, and you'll have the opportunity when I ask to I'll invite people to ask questions of these doctors who are experts in their fields and they care about law enforcement. So a lot of good stuff coming up in 2017. I'm actually excited. I this hiatus I told you about, that's obvious, was almost a quitting. I almost quit the show, to be honest. And for a couple days, even told my wife that I'm done. I tried it. It was a lot of fun, but it was just too intensive. And I just thought maybe I needed to step back from it for a while and focus on some of these other things. Focus on my own, now medical issues. So that hiatus was going to be a break, and I wasn't going to end it without saying something, but I kind of thought, it was done for a while anyway. But I got a couple emails. I got emails from some guys, and I got to tell you, the emails are meaning the world to me when people are kind enough and brave enough to open up and tell me their story, tell me about their struggles. It convinced me that the show was doing good stuff for other cops. And it's obviously, next to my wife and kids, the biggest population, the biggest type of person that I care about most in the world. The best people I know on earth are cops. And because of that, and because of some of these emails that I got, just kind of like all at the same time, convinced me that there's still stuff to pursue here. There's still questions to be asked. There's still things I need to learn, and that I hold myself more accountable when I'm just out here blabbing and putting it out there and putting myself in check. So we're back. Not that you ever knew we left, but we're back. So in 2017, we got a lot of stuff coming up. I mentioned the doctors that we have. Greg Amundsen's coming back on soon. Scott McGee, who's very popular. We're going to have more strength and conditioning coaches. Freddie Camacho's coming back with his wife, China Cho. Those are repeats, of course, but we've got a lot of people in the pipeline. One thing I'm most excited about for this year is that we're going to start introducing listener stories, people who actually listen to the show who are now sharing either their trials and tribulations and successes in getting healthy, or their trials and tribulations and successes and failures during critical incidences, officer-involved shootings, on-duty incidents, that sort of stuff. There's one coming up that I'm really excited about. I don't want to say anything about it yet. I'm excited and I'm tepid about it all at the same time because it is such a this officer had such a interestingly negative impact on policing in general, but he's now trying to rectify a lot of that. And that's going to be an amazing conversation that's going to happen in a couple of weeks. So anyway, want to thank more mini episodes too. I'm going to do more mini episodes, little debriefs. And the firearms episodes with Aaron and others are proving to be very popular. Aaron's going to come back on, I'm sure, several times this year. And we'll have more of those as well. But I want to thank you, everyone who's listening. If you've gotten to this point, 22 minutes and 36 seconds into this episode, if you're listening, thank you. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the Facebook likes and the Instagram and whatnot, to let me know you're out there and let me know that that this is working for you, or that this is enjoyable for you, or that you're learning something from this, or that you're in the same space. It's been an amazing experience so far to connect with so many people all over the world. I mean, I want to, special shout out to everybody like in Queensland, Australia, and Quebec, Canada, and Ontario. I get these great emails from all over the world, and that's just outside the country. England too, all over the country, all over the world. We're all experiencing a lot of the same things, and we're all in this together, very much so. And it's been a great experience to feel that connectivity and that sense of spirit with guys I've never met before, who pour their heart out, who share their story, who are brave enough to reach out and talk, and I'm humbled by it, and it's amazing, and it's so much fun to be sitting here in Southern California and just have these conversations with people all around the world. So we're going to keep at it. We're going to have a lot more episodes, a lot more fun stuff to do. Highly recommend you go to thesquadroom.net and sign up for our mailing list. Again, that shirt is available for a couple more days. It's at teespring.com/officerdown. I'll put a link to it in our show notes too. You can go to our website and you can check it out there. Portion will go to Officer Down Memorial page. The rest goes directly to support the show. There are men's and women's sizes too, and I'm pretty stoked on this one. So if you want to reach out, Garrett at thesquadroom.net. That's my email. I always try to respond quickly, and let me know what you think, what you like, what you don't like. Let me know your story. I'm always curious, and there are guests coming on the show in the near future who reached out and shared their story, and I asked them to bring it back and share with all of us. So a lot of good stuff coming on. Thank you all for listening. This will, like I said, the next interview show will be up in a couple weeks. sit tight, and we'll be back for the rest of 2017. Thanks for listening.